Hey Dylan, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. What are the challenges that you face getting back home, and what are your plans, and how much you approach that, knowing everything that's going on north of the border?
Yeah, I mean, Canada's definitely in kind of a tough spot right now with compared to the US, I guess. A lot of stuff's closed, so I don't really have any plans yet. I mean, I could go back home, but I'd have to quarantine, and I don't really want to quarantine right away. So we'll see. I might stick around here for a bit or get down somewhere else, but I don't really have set plans yet. But I definitely do want to get home and see my family and stuff and hang out up there.
Thank you.
Morning, Dylan. When it comes last 2 months of the season, you were able to play center pretty much every game. What did you, I guess, learn about the challenges of playing that position in the NHL, and how do you feel you grew when playing difficult matchups pretty much every game?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing comes to mind, obviously, right away is just face-offs. I mean, these guys have been taking face-offs in the NHL, some of these guys for a long time. So coming in, it's definitely had some off games on face-offs. And but other than that, I mean, like in the D zone too, it's, there's lots of responsibility. You lose your guy, he's going to be open. So, I mean, I think I did a pretty good job as a center, but I know I want to be better and just keep improving, and building off of what I achieved this year.
Dylan, you had so many challenges this year. You talked about quarantine. You had two long ones, COVID, the World Junior, coming here, being a rookie, in your first season in the NHL. It seemed like you had a very good rookie year, but with everything combined, maybe the last 5, 6, 7 games, do you think you hit a bit of a wall there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the last stretch there for me, I didn't really produce how I would have liked to finish. So I mean, I would say I definitely wasn't at my best there, finishing off the season. And it was definitely a long year for me. There's obviously no excuses there or anything, but it's nice. I mean, I'd love to be playing in playoffs right now, and I think everyone obviously would. But it's going to be good for me to kind of just take a little mental break and then get after it. It's going to be a big summer for me. I have high expectations for myself, and I want to come back next year way better. And I'm going to work as hard as I can this summer to come back and be a difference maker and be a guy who can produce. And I'm going to expect myself to be a guy who can produce next year.
Hi, Dylan. I think back to when we were in Vancouver for your draft weekend, and Sam Reinhart was there, greeted you. Jack, I know, called. When you think to what went on yesterday, the chances are Sam and Jack and maybe Risto may not be here next year. Just what was your reaction hearing about yesterday, and how much of more of a leader can you become on this team, even though next year you would only be in your second year in the NHL?
Yeah, I mean, I can only say great things about those guys. I mean, from the moment I was drafted, obviously Reinhart being there, and Eichel calling me, those guys have been great to me since the moment I got here. They've helped me, get my feet wet in this league and learn, and they've always, helped me out so much and given me so many tips. So, whatever happens with them, it's out of my control. Obviously, we'd love to have them both back. They're both great players. So, I mean, if they're not, I do think there'll be room for me to kind of step up and be more of a leader for sure. And I mean, but like I said, they're both great players. I mean, we'd love to have them back.
Hey there. I'm sure you had expectations of what the NHL was going to be like on the ice. Just what did you learn about it, being part of it for the season?
Yeah, I mean, this year was definitely not how I envisioned my first year in the NHL being. As a kid, there's definitely a lot of different things. Definitely learned, how hard it is to play in this league and produce in this league. So, I mean, there's a lot of things I'm gonna take from this year. I definitely learned a lot, and I'm gonna use that and to build my game this off season, so I can come back and sorry, one sec, and be more consistent next year in producing. And I mean, it's going to take a lot of work, and I know it is. And I'm ready to get started.
Dylan, there was a pretty big transformation after Don took over. When you looking back, just what were what did he do to transform you guys? What was his big impact on you guys, in your opinion?
I mean, to win games, you got to score goals. And I mean, he kind of based a lot of game on offense and scoring goals. I mean, he was great. I know a lot of us here, loved playing for him, and a lot of guys really shined under him. So, we loved having him a coach, and, that doesn't take anything away from Ralph. I love Ralph as a coach too, and as a guy. He was great to me. He's, definitely one of the best humans I've ever met. So, I mean, whatever happens this off season with coaching, it's not up to us. But whatever happens, we're all going to be super excited to be back here next year.
Hi, Dylan. Going off of what Bill just asked you there, how encouraged are you by how the last month has gone with this team under Don?
Yeah, I think what we did that last month or so is, just a glimpse of what we know we can do next year. We got a real good group here right now, and a lot of guys that, are hungry to win. So, I mean, I think, we're all really excited to, kind of have a fresh start next season. So, we're all just going to, work as hard as we can this off season to come back and, be a winning team.
Hey, Dylan, there was a stretch there where Donnie was giving you top lines every night, it felt like. How would you describe the difference between playing those guys, Bergeron, Crosby, compared to playing against third, fourth lines?
And the biggest difference is just minutes and playing time, I'd say. I mean, those two guys specifically are guys I watched, growing up my whole life. So to be out there, line match against them was pretty cool for me. And, taking faceoffs against them, it kind of gives me that extra gear almost to be, try and shut them down or try and score against them. So, I mean, everyone, you're in the NHL, everyone's a good player. So there's not much, but definitely playing against those guys, it's just the minutes is the most difference, and just how smart they are in making plays. It almost seems like they never make mistakes. So I definitely love playing against those guys, with matching against the top line. And hopefully we'll see more of that in the future.
Dylan, how did, in your exit interview, did Kevin give you any sort of areas of improvement that he and the organization want to see from you next season? And what sort of goals, maybe not specifically, do you have for yourself this summer to get you ready for year 2 in the NHL?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the talk was just, my thoughts on this season, what I learned and what I can bring into next year. And, like I said, I didn't really produce how I wanted to this year. I have high expectations on myself. I want more. So, I mean, the biggest thing for me is just kind of working on that side of the game, just being, I want to be a goal scorer in this league. So, I know I got a lot of work to do this summer to come back and hopefully be able to, up my game from there. But I mean, this year for me was a big learning year, and there's a lot of things I learned that I can build on and improve, and I'm going to do that this offseason.
Hey, Dylan, it didn't appear that you shied away from much of anything on the ice this year, and just the way you've responded to us with your answers as well. Given the uncertainty at the leadership level going into next season, how much do you feel you can shoulder part of that role, given what you've learned and given the person that you are right now?
I mean, I'm still a very young player in this league, so I don't expect guys to come in and look at me as a leader this soon. But I definitely want to be a guy that is good. I want to be a leader on this team for sure, and a guy that can be someone that guys can look to and talk to. And I mean, obviously as a young guy right now, I don't expect that, but I do expect it of myself in the future for sure. I want to be here for a long time, and I definitely would like to be a leader on this team for a long time.
Thank you, Dylan.
Thanks.